Scleroderma Queensland and the Deputy Chair of Scleroderma Australia. She was diagnosed 13 years ago with scleroderma, and she's joined me today with her mother, Jan, and her close friend, Suzanne, and we're going to be discussing their experiences and their insights surrounding Tara's journey with scleroderma. So thank you very much for joining me today, ladies. They're zooming in from Maleny up in Queensland, and it's a very warm day today. So thank you especially for joining us on this hot Australian summer's day. So thank you so much. First of all, I'd just like to ask Jan, can you share with us how did you first hear about Tara's diagnosis, and what was your reaction?
Well, of course, Tara eventually told me about it. She'd been ill for some time with encephalitis and then all sorts of things. And so it had been a long process of worrying about her and wondering what it was. And she'd go for tests and I'd be worried that she wouldn't tell me what the results of the tests were and so on. And so eventually she did tell me about scleroderma. And at that stage, it was one of those unknown sorts of things. And so it was just then a process of actually finding out what this meant and understanding that it's not one thing, it's many things. And that's been the journey ever since, really. What's this wretched disease going to throw up next?
Tara, sorry, carry on, Jan.
No, that's fine.
Tara, for you, sharing it with your mother, with your husband, with your child, and of course your friends, how did that evolve for you?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing. You know, I've always grown up in a family of honesty. You know, what life throws up. You know, you can still, if you acknowledge it, you can still do something about it or move through it. But of course, as a daughter and as a mother and as a partner, you don't want to worry other people until you don't want to worry people terribly much until you have to. So I sort of wanted to protect people, but then it got to a point where I had to, you know, once I had a clear understanding of what it was, then yes, it was time to tell others because I needed them to know, I needed them to understand, so I could get the support I needed, you know, and sort of adapt to that different way of being. You know, it's not right that, you know, as my mother was growing older, sorry, Mum, to say that, as my mother was growing older, it's my job as a daughter to look after her, and to think that that mightn't be the case was challenging. But you know, we talked through that too, and we're lucky we're a really strong unit, so that helps a lot.
Wonderful. Suzanne, for you as Tara's friend, close friend, how have you seen scleroderma affect her day-to-day life? And how have you found that the friendship group can contribute to her support system?
Affecting her everyday life. Okay, so that's quite a big one from the point of view that Tara's always, as her dad once said and was read at his funeral, Tara can do anything. And she always did, from stitching amazing tapestries to LED lighting beautiful windows to fixing Harley Davidsons, anything and everything, and also a very accomplished martial artist. And pretty much anything I could do, Tara could do better. I have one thing that I can do, and I'm not going to say that in public, what I can do better than Tara. Anyway. Yes, So yeah, so seeing somebody that's just been able to do anything and then start to get limited in their capacity is really challenging. You know, as you get older, as I'm experiencing with myself, it sucks. And when you think then that, you know, because Tara also isn't one to complain or say anything, so you only observe things quietly or hear maybe through her husband Diedrich. But yeah, bit by bit over time, especially in the martial arts world. But then I found out through her music, she used to play the clarinet. She couldn't do that anymore because of the limitations with the lip and that. And she told me much later that was actually a really significant loss for her, the inability to do that. Yeah, you just watch this decline that's coming way too quickly.
The losses are enormous, aren't they? And to the average person that doesn't really know what's going on, it would be impossible to know what they really are. So for you, Jan, are there some positives? So, for example, positive changes or new perspectives that you've seen through Tara and through supporting her and being involved with her support groups?
Positive. Well, yes, I guess look, anything, as Tara said, we've always grown up with, okay, it's best to know, and then you can face it and work out ways. I think for Tara, although she has lost all those things, I think that she has become stronger in her ability in her leadership. She's using her brain a lot more. She's using her brain. I think it's probably a silly thing. I think overcoming anything does strengthen you. But I'm just proud of how she's stepped into the role of advocate, leader. Good on her. Yes, I think that's the strength.
Absolutely. Seeing what goes on behind the scenes in Scleroderma Australia, the organisation, and Tara's involvement with that, and of course Sunflower Day coming up next week. Yep. It's amazing to see what they as an organisation achieve. It absolutely mind-blowing. So I'll bet you're incredibly proud. So Suzanne, what's one key fact that you really wish that more people knew about scleroderma and the impact that it has on friendships and families?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I haven't thought of that. So what's one key factor that you wish people knew more about scleroderma? Was that your question?
Yes.
I think for me, it's like you don't quite know what's around the corner. And you need to be prepared for change. You need prepared for uncertainty. However, you also need to know that, I really strongly believe, and I know Tara does, that with every obstacle is a blessing. And it's a case of then finding the time and sitting and taking the time to find out where your strengths are. And as I said before, Tara can do anything. However, you do find then that there are certain areas in your life where you go, okay, I still need to make a difference. I can make a difference. How am I going to do it? And, there's no doubt that she has been able to do that with her, particularly because of her medical background. That's been key for a lot of people that are being diagnosed, because she can inform them in a language they can understand, as opposed to hearing it from GPs and medicos. But I think it's then from a friendship group, it's just, being supportive in whatever way you can, and not being afraid to ask some of the harder questions. And that can be difficult to do, and to hear it. Just to know that, we all know nothing is permanent, but there's always something you can find to laugh about. Like we laughed about when she lost her little finger, the digit down here, there's a certain thing that we know. We found a way to be able to smile about something that most people would just be horrified about and not see beyond that. Now, you need to know that. And one of the ladies who's a committee member actually with the organisation, she had us in hysterics at the committee meeting the other day, Deb. She had an accident on a wheelchair, and a cyclist came out of nowhere. She was in a hurry, hadn't been out for a few days trying to get bread and milk, and he came from nowhere. She didn't see him, bang, next thing she's out of a wheelchair. And the way she was telling this story, because she didn't have a foot on her leg, she had us all in hysterics, and you could just see that she actually felt for the guy too, because he was beside himself. He didn't, you know, what had happened. And there's this poor person from a wheelchair that he is guilty about. But she still had the ability to share the story, to go into the detail and be able to laugh about it. And you've got to be able to rejoice in that together.
That saying that laughter is the best medicine is really true, isn't it? It's so many instances. Tara, I'd love it if you would share a little bit about scleroderma nurses. So as we've been talking about that Sunflower Day is coming up next week, and of course it's a great time to donate to Scleroderma Australia any day of the week, but particularly at the moment when we're really raising awareness through Sunflower Day. And that the proceeds from Sunflower Day, or the money that's fundraised, will go towards scleroderma nurses. But why is that? What do people know? Why are you funding your own nurses?
Well, yes, unfortunately, scleroderma being a relatively rare and unknown condition still, we're getting the word out there more, but there's no specific government funding for scleroderma nurses, as there are for other more well-known conditions like breast care nurses, for example. But as my friend and my mum has said, the complexity of what we have with scleroderma is that it's a really faceted condition. So it needs really nurse coordinator to not only help us with our scleroderma journey, but also link us into research opportunities so we can get better outcomes for us as community. Now, when I was diagnosed in Victoria, I was referred to the scleroderma clinic led by the scleroderma nurse there, and it was a very seamless, relatively experience where I was straight away within a multidisciplinary team that understood scleroderma. Now, unfortunately, when I moved to Queensland, which I had to because of my scleroderma with my family, they don't have the number of scleroderma nurses here. Through our funding from Sunflower Day, we do have our first scleroderma clinic that started at the Gold Coast Hospital in Queensland. It's getting really good outcomes for our community, but it's a service that can only service that area. It was interesting yesterday, actually, I spoke with the new health minister's team about the need for multidisciplinary clinics in Queensland with scleroderma nurses leading, and there was an agreement that we need to do that. And with this sort of funding, we can support that process of getting scleroderma nurses, which makes such a difference as someone living through scleroderma. And also for my family to know that there's a team that understands what I'm going through and have got the best access and the best research opportunities, the multidisciplinary aspect, so I won't be forgotten. That's a huge thing for them as well, I'm sure. So it's so important, and that's why we're raising funds for Sunflower Day.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So, Jan, are there any moments or anything that stands out in your mind or achievements that Tara's had since her diagnosis? Something that's particularly meaningful for you both, perhaps?
Singing. Suzanne mentioned Tara used to play the clarinet. And of course, losing music was an enormous part of her life. And so she discovered singing in a choir. And so now Tara belongs to the Sunshine Coast Show Choir. And she has the most wonderful time. She's met a most wonderful group of women. And interestingly, I think she's also brought the whole concept of scleroderma, disability and inclusivity and all those wonderful things to another audience. I think that that's probably been one of the most wonderful things that has come out of this journey and so forth. So it's been wonderful on many levels, and has contributed also to her wellness in a sense, both emotional and physical. So yes, I'd say sing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Suzanne, how do you work together to help Tara stay positive and motivated when she's particularly having some really bad challenges or challenging challenges because of scleroderma?
That's something I don't have to do terribly often, because Tara's usually always has an innate ability to default to a positive mindset. It's a choice she makes, and it's something that we do discuss for ourselves and for other people. And it's one of those skills that she has. I know I talk to Diederik sometimes and say, listen, how is she doing? Because she doesn't always tell me this or that or whatever. And he might share that, yeah, she's had a downtime. I'd like to think that there's always that opportunity that if there's time to, like, you know what, this sucks, I need to see you, and let's just go and have a cuppa or whatever, that she will do that. We've had a few little times, but I think the most important thing is to make sure that you just reiterate regularly that, you know, how you going, and if you don't share stuff with me, I actually will feel locked out or closed out. So even from my point of view, you know, you need to look after me too by sharing. But yeah, she has a very innate ability, but also a conscious decision and a way of living a life to make positive choices and positive ways of thinking. So from that point of view, she's quite the inspiration too.
Oh, good. This next question I've got is actually, I'd like to ask all three of you. So I'll go with you first, Suzanne. So what advice would you give to others who might be supporting someone that's newly diagnosed with scleroderma, or that is a new friend? Yeah, what advice would you have?
I always believe in openness. So rather than just be afraid to ask questions and wonder or Google it, just ask outright. What does this mean? What does that mean? How does that impact you? Is there what can we do to maybe get around that? Can we change places we go? But just be open. Ask questions. You know, nobody finds out anything by keeping their mouth shut and keeping a veil in front of you.
Absolutely. Great advice. Thank you. What about you, Jan?
Oh, I'd say the same. I think talk, be honest, be open, and yeah, share all the things. I mean, if you're feeling afraid, well, say it. That's important, because you don't want somebody thinking, oh, I might make them sad, I might make mum sad, or, you know, be open, be honest, be upfront. And also remember that it's still the same person. You know, it's still the same person with all the same skills, all the same talents, all the same hopes, all those things. They just have a disease.
Thank you, Jan. What about for you, Tara? And I'd particularly be interested to know what you would like people to know, but also for the children, like you've got some great experience there. What can you share?
Yeah, I think I agree. Be honest, be open. Don't be afraid to be sad, or don't be afraid to be happy. But also, you know, with my son who was young, I mean, we also demonstrated how you can adapt, and how the relationships can change to make it still great, but we are the same people. The love is still the same, but also there are supports out there that isn't necessarily what the family can offer too. You know, that there are other people to talk about these things. You know, particularly family members that might want to ask some questions as well. It's okay for them to talk to health professionals, or you know, other people about the experience as well, and not to be shy about that too. You know, I think that's really key. Don't be afraid. Trust in your relationships. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I know that will be extremely helpful for the supporters, the friends and the family of people. Yeah, it can be very, very difficult to know what to do and what to say. So Sunflower Day coming up on the 6th of March. It's a big event for raising awareness. So I'd like to know how you, Jan, and you, Suzanne, are going to be personally involved with that this year. What about you, Suzanne?
I'm waiting to find out from Tara if you'll fill me in.
What is she going to do, Tara?
Well, we've got our sunflowers ready to go. We've put our stickers on our cars. We've also going to be trying to go and see some light up areas and take some photos and share them with on social media and sharing those opportunities to connect. And we've been doing a lot of work in that too, just getting the word out there about Scleroderma and Sunflower Day. So that's been really key. And talk to the health service down at the Gold Coast, and they'll be doing some awareness stuff there too. So it's all that kind of thing. And our support groups all are doing their parts as well and going up to some light up events too. So we'll be sharing that as well.
Fabulous. And Jan, for you, will you be wearing yellow?
Of course. Well, no, I won't be wearing yellow. I'll be wearing sunflower. Yes, definitely sunflowers. And whatever Tara wants that I can do, we'll be doing. Yes. Just it's a wonderful thing, and I think the sunflower is a fantastic image for Scleroderma. So yes, we'll be out there with our son.
Fantastic. So as we wrap up today's interview, we really want to think about Sunflower Day taking place on Thursday, 6th of March. So that's next week. So this special day is all about shining a light on scleroderma, raising crucial awareness and supporting people affected by the condition. So this Sunflower Day, we've got over 130 already confirmed iconic locations lighting up around Australia. And so we really encourage you to go out and find those locations. They're on the website, which will be in the below where you're watching this and in the notes. So we invite you to join the Shine Like a Sunflower movement. You could wear yellow, visit a lit up location, take a selfie, share it on social media, and you can use the hashtags like hashtag Shine Like a Sunflower or hashtag Sunflower Day 2025, and that will help spread awareness far and wide. I know that I'm going to be expecting lots and lots of people tagging on the day so that we can be resharing them on the Scleroderma Australia Facebook page, on Instagram, etc. And please remember that your generous donations make a life-changing difference. They fund specialized scleroderma nurses who provide such important support, advice, and care. As Tara's explained, what a difference it makes to all of those people battling the scleroderma disease. So whether it's through donating, raising awareness, or just educating yourself and others about scleroderma, every single little bit helps. So all you need to do is visit Scleroderma Australia's website, find out how you can get involved, or keep following the Scleroderma Australia socials. Of course, we all want to come together and support the amazing individuals and families like Tara's that are living with this condition. Your support really shines a much needed light. So thank you, Jan. Thank you, Suzanne. And again, thank you, Tara. For those that would like to know more about Tara and her journey, a few weeks ago, we had a wonderful interview where Tara shared all kinds of amazing personal parts of her journey, and it's fascinating. So head on over there, find that, and enjoy the watch or the listen. So thank you, everybody. I'm so looking forward to Sunflower Day with you all and making a massive difference. Let's make this one bigger than any other year has been. And thank you very much for spending some time with me today.
Thanks, Kylie.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.